Discriminating on the way you feel, not the way you look. Good morning. My name is Emily Rumasek.
I'm Kate Young.
And I'm Brianna Guzman.
Today we're going to be discussing the challenges and barriers the LGBTQ community faces when accessing healthcare. This topic is very unique because the majority of people face discrimination based on their physical appearance, but this group faces discrimination based on their sexual preferences. I will begin our presentation by giving an overview of the LGBTQ community. Kate will continue by stating specific challenges and barriers this community faces, and Brianna will end our discussion by giving possible solutions on how to make healthcare access more accessible for this population. LGBTQ is an acronym that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer or questioning. These terms are used to describe a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. The number of people in the LGBTQ community cannot be properly traced since the U.S. Census Bureau does not collect information on sexual orientation or gender identity, but the community continues to grow. Studies show that members of this community are more susceptible to health problems such as abuse of alcohol, tobacco, illicit drugs, obesity, mental disorders, and STDs. Oftentimes, these individuals do not seek medical care because of professionals that display discrimination. The discrimination and prejudice that these individuals face further deters them from seeking medical attention and leads to an even poorer health status.
Moving to challenges, since the LGBTQ community is more susceptible to health problems, healthcare is harder than normal to come by, but needed more than ever. According to the LGBTQ communities, their main barrier for healthcare is refusal of service. Instead of treating without discrimination, healthcare professionals refuse to even see these patients simply because of their biased opinions of the chosen orientations in this community. Members then refuse to even try to visit a physician because they don't want the judgment and biases of being turned down for the fear of this discrimination. Over 22% of LGBTQ members were unable to see a physician because of this refusal of service. Another major barrier is equal access to healthcare. A lot of the access given to the LGBTQ community currently is subpar servicing, making discriminating once again a problem for the LGBTQ community and its members. According to a recent journal, the quality of services that the community has access to is compared to a free healthcare clinic. When seeking alternatives because of this barrier, 31% of the LGBTQ community members feel that they would not be able to find a type of service that they would be comfortable with.
So now we're going to move on to attempting to tackle the problem, which would entail decreasing this discrimination. I think this image sends a powerful message that although so much has been accomplished for the LGBTQ community, there's still a long way to go. The first way we can contribute to attacking the issues would be increasing traction from the community. As we have seen throughout this class, many healthcare issues are often needed to be addressed in reference to regional differences. Extending an ear to the community would allow for the specific needs of that community to be supported. Moreover, there also needs to be updates to the programs and routines of the healthcare settings to be more inclusive. For example, Epic recently in 2019 edited their system so that individuals can specify their identity in terms of their gender. And if you think about it, that's pretty recent. So with that being said, we need to keep the similar systems up to date with the ever-evolving world. This also extends to the resources offered. Most important, there needs to be education of healthcare professionals to be sensitive to the needs of individuals part of the LGBT community. Whether we're looking at being conscious of an individual's lack of support or needs that aren't necessarily common among their other patients, this can be in the form of onboard trainer education modules. And this is our discussion question. You can go ahead and pause the video so you can read it and let us know what your input is.